Hi, this is IK. Welcome to the developer. You are a React Redux architect, part 6. In this video, we have this 6-button reaction. Look at reaction button. It is something like counter. It is button, and always up for 1 when we click on that. Reaction, architecture of that part. In this post list of posts, every post there is a 6 button for reaction. Every post there is a time ago. It means that element reaction buttons will be in post list as a React element, same as time ago React element. Here it is, post list, and here is a time ago element. Here is a reaction button. Reaction button is a child of post list. Time ago is child of post list. And the data flow, look at here. We have a post. We have every post must go through this processing. This object rendered post is object, and inside that object, all what happen inside that object, it is one closed territory, and from that territory, from that object, after that processing in that object, every post is same architecture. Look at here. Every post there is a title element, HTML element heading 3. There is a React element time ago. There is a content, and now there is a reaction added. This is 6 button. And again, second post also have title, HTML element h3, time ago, content, and 6 element. Post list take state post, plural, posts, take state post from Redux and give it to component post list. And in post list we have all posts. Here it and all posts, and every element of every post. It is on the post list. Use a selector post list. And time ago and reaction added is position, locate. We locate it on the post list as every other HTML element. React element as HTML element. And that post, what we need of that is flow. It is data flow. Data flow from state by use selector, from state posts by a use selector, coming in post list, and go in every element, HTML element and React element. Go in that variable, that post, go in HTML element and go in React element time ago and reaction added. And it is data flow from parents component to child component. List, post list is parent. That list is by use selector connect with state, Redux state. And when we have data on the post list component, that data go in HTML element and React element, and processing in React element. Here it is. This is post list, use selector. Post list until now, but and now also there is no, there don't need dispatch, because there is nothing to send to dispatch to Redux. But now reaction buttons have something for dispatch, and the reaction buttons will have dispatch, use dispatch hook. Okay, here it is. Use dispatch in post list. Take posts, all posts from state, from Redux. And that all post must go, here is ordering this from descending, from last post to first. And our post, all post, is now in ordered post. And ordered post must use method map. Method map, because always method map create from array, design every member of array. And ordered post is all our post. We declare new object, rendered post, equal ordered post dot map, and in arrow function, every post in that array post, every post must go through this processing. And after that processing, every post will look as here: title, time ago, content, reaction added. Go back to script, reaction added. Okay, now we have a rendered post. It is every post is same. There is the same design by HTML. There is the same structure and design. But now is interesting. In time ago, we have properties, short properties, because time ago is object, and object have properties. For example, article is HTML element, and not object but element, and have argument. Argument key equal post ID. And h3 post dot title. But time ago timestamp post date. Go date, but here post properties of reaction buttons, we named post equal curly brackets post. It means that complete post, not part of post, but complete post go in reaction buttons. And now we can go to component reaction buttons. Here we are, reaction buttons component. We need use dispatch. Because click on the button, activate dispatch action to Redux. Use dispatch. And we need a new action creator, reaction edit. Reaction edit we create in post slice. And post slice, it is Redux architecture will be topic, will be theme, will be objective in the next series of video. And go back to our component, reaction component. Again, we have import what we need. This we don't need that. It is enough to import that in index in the index.js. Here it is. React buttons back. And here is import use dispatch and reaction edit from post slice and React Redux use dispatch. It's okay. Now we need one object because that reactions is our construction, and that construction is here. We construct name and emoji. Name of and emoji. It is object, curly brackets. Reaction emoji is object, inside curly brackets. We have properties of object, name of properties, a column, and what is it here is in emoji. It is under quote, it is emoji. About emoji you Google, but it is like script, like character. It is a string. Because of that there is a quote around, and this is his name of properties. Object have properties. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties, and every properties value of every properties here is emoji object. You must know that component is about visibility, is about JavaScript extension. It is about what we see, because why I that here apostrophe, because you see here properties and the value of properties emoji, but in post slice you will see properties, value of properties is number, and initial number is 0. It means that when we click would be 1, click 2, 3. It means that that is value of name is number. But here locally for visibility we need emoji, and this object is only for here is created only for visible part of web page, visible part of this component, and that visible part is this. What we see? We see 0 and emoji. Click. It is 1, 2, and emoji. We see emoji and number. Here is, and we see number. That we want to see, and because of that here is emoji. But how we have a number instead of properties? Properties here is variable. we will see how it is a variable, and that number variable go up for 1 when we click. Every click go on. It is, but it means that properties is variable, and when we click on properties, we change state, mutate state on immutable kind because of Redux. We change state of that variable. All must have every number must have variable that we can change that number. And here is a variable, and we click here. Variable go change state of that variable. But this is element button, and this element button there is every button there is a state also. It is a local state. But here help us, we don't need use state because here is value known. As in counter by button. Counter by button, we don't need use state. For immutable change local state of every of these button, because we know how many add. It is not variable how many adding after click, always adding 1. And because of that, we always up for 1, and it is not different. It is always the same. Okay, look at a video about counter. First counter, not by input box, by counter by button. Go back. We must see now how it is number. Okay, this is for our eyes on the screen. And here, architecture of this component is different from other only for this declaration of that object. And now you see declaration of that object go after import, declaration of object reaction emoi. It is name of properties, and right is emoi. And now we go with the export, our object reaction buttons equal arrow function, and look at here, post. In our reaction buttons component coming all post. And here it is. Take care, this post in curly brackets is post list. It is not this post, this is this post, props. Name is the same, but curiosity is that this is properties, and right side is assign value, and here is our properties of this object equal and assign value of post. And now go inside the reaction buttons, we have in curly brackets these properties. Go to reaction buttons, and this is in curly brackets post, and in curly brackets of arrow function we have complete processing for visibility on the screen, for HTML document of this component in curly brackets. At first, again, we declare dispatch from and assign value function use dispatch, and declare reaction buttons. And here is now is something interesting, but all about reaction buttons is very interesting. That interesting equal big confusion and complication at first look, at second look, third, and you must look at this video and this code many times, but when you understand, there is no problems. It is simple. But how many would be this mesh would be confused when we take small by small part? Must be part what is simple. Here it is. Object entry, object entries, reaction MOI. When we see map as method, we know that all this is array. Only array there is a method map. And it is a small part what I want explain now. Object entries reaction MOI. Reaction MOI is object. Is object. Here it is. Is reaction MOI is object. What we have after this? What we have in this part? Here it is. Console.log object entries reaction MOI. Look at F12 give us invisible part of this screen. Look at now. Array 6 means that all this is concretely this is one array with 6 members. And it is reaction buttons, reaction buttons. Here it is reaction button 17, here it is. Reaction button 17. Okay, let's go. Because here it is first. Okay. And here is okay, it is here is reaction buttons is here 17 position, and all that is 6 members, one array 6 members, and every members inside array is array. It is array of array. Every members of array, there is 2 members, concretely A, emoi, thumbs up, emoi, hooray, emoi. It is one array inside array with 6 members. Every members of 6, there is there is array with 2 members. And look at what it members is members are in object, and when we look at in object, here it is in object, object entry reaction emoy. When we look at in object, look at here in object we have a properties column value in quote. It is as a string. Again, properties column value. But here we have a properties comma array emoy. Properties under quote, because it is string, comma, and emoy, quota, inside quota, because it is a string. And this is 6 array is one array of 6 members. You see that it is object entries of concretely object give us that, and it is what we need. We need look at we need number emoy, number emoy, but here is not a number. It is a, thumbs up, hooray, heart, rocket. It is not number. It is properties, name of properties. And how here is a name of properties, how here is a number? Because properties there is we look at in console. In console is not same as elements. Look at now in elements. Console is look at behind visible part. Now elements is visible part, and look at invisible part. Here is a section. Okay, there is a button. Look at button, 6 button. There is a number. Here is a number 9, 10. Button, look at here now. 1, 2, 3. We have a number and emoy, and it is as counter. Every click is up for 1. Not here, but here. You look at it is and before counts, variable count was number, and here it is also. And elements, what we now look at, it is visible. Visible number and emoy, here it is, number and emoy. But behind that is name, because name is a unique identification of every emoy. Unique identification of every emoy. And when there is a name, unique identification here, our program dispatch action, our action, must give Redux unique identification of every button. What is unique identification of every button? I ask you, think a little. What is unique identification of every button? It is prop, name of prop, but we have same name for every post. Here is a same name. Second post, every post there is 6 buttons. Every button there is a same name. How action will explain what data must action take and give dispatch to method dispatch, and also dispatch what data must be dispatched to Redux, to store to reducer. What data must be ID of post and name of reaction button. Two identification, 2 key we must have for identification every button in the list. ID of post and the name of reaction button. And let's go back in reaction buttons. Now we are here. We now know that it will be array with 6 members. Inside every members is also array of 2 members. That 2 members is properties, name of properties, and IMOI. Because object entries reaction IMOI is array. Every array there is a method map. We take a map because every list we must create with map. We must create with array and map on that array, create new array. And list, here it is, we have list of 6 buttons. It is a list of 6 buttons, and we must use for that take it visible, we must use map. First, we must create array from this object, and we must create array of array. Every array there is 2 members, properties, name of properties, and IMOI, because we need here every button name of properties and IMOI, name of properties and IMOI. Okay, but how it will be converted in a number? Because every properties there is value numbers. Look at here, post slice. When we add in post slice, I said that I talk about post slice in separate series of video. Now look at in prepare starting point, the initial value. We have a value in a number. Look at number. Every properties there is a number 0, 0, 0, 0, and starting with 0. Here it is refresh, and we have initial two initial posts, and every new post A, B would be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, every new. But initial post, we also give them 0 value. Here it is. Initial post, initial state of two posts. There is a 0 also, all 0. And here is also all 0. Post slash. Let's go from post slash back to reaction buttons. And this part, I explained this part. This part is array, and now about map, we a lot of times meet map, and we know all after that what go. For parameter, now we don't have one parameter, but we have one parameter, but that parameter, one parameter is array. That array, one of 6. This array, there is 6 members, and every member is array. Here it is. Every member is array. When we have in an array post, we write here post, only post, every post. But now member, because in post array post there is a members post. For example, we can call that, we can give name what we want, but better give descriptive name. And here is descriptive name is name emoi, because it is true that this give us name emoi. It is console name emoi. It is console, but elements instead of a name would be number. Console is name emoi, and we write here name emoi in square brackets. It is array. Square brackets means array, curly brackets means object. Parameter of that arrow function, map, method map, there is a parameter, and that parameter is arrow function. All this here coming. All this is parameter of map. Parameter of map, method map, arrow function. I bold arrow function. Parameter of arrow function is array name emoi, members, and in curly brackets go processing of every name emoi, of every array, of every of 6 array. Processing in curly brackets, in body of arrow function. Body of arrow function is this. Let's go to C, body, it is a body of arrow function. Complete processing, start and finished here. What we processing now? We processing this, don't forget, this we must see. Component is about visibility. Visibility on the screen is about HTML document. We must have, after that processing, HTML documents with data inside that. And we must see number and IMOI. Number and IMOI. It is button, 6 button, and every button there is a number and IMOI. Console log here, it is nothing for now for us. Return. Here we don't need declaration any variable, and we have object reaction buttons. It is name of component also, and now we have return button. Here is a first tag button, and close tag is here, and here it is between tag button. We will have this. We will have post reaction name, curly brackets here. It is kind how we call element member of array, and it will be 6 name of array. But first, name of array, second IMOI. We can this because we have this, and we have object entries. We can write here this as we in counter write only counts, variable counts. But here we have 2 variables, name and IMOI, and we write it between open button and close button, and it will be on the button name and IMOI, but name is number, name is a variable name, name is properties, it is variable. We can change properties. Properties will be changed. We cannot change in a constant reaction button in this declaration constant. We cannot change declared object by constant, but we can change properties. And also, where we have object, we cannot change object, but we can change properties of that object. We see just that. Instead of name, we see number. Instead of that, we see number. Return reaction buttons in side of that inside that division, and we have 6 buttons, but yeah, I don't see this. We create object reaction buttons, and I look at reaction buttons from here directly to object, but here it is declaration of reaction buttons with like camel, but not camel notation. It is reaction small case, and B buttons is capital letters. It is different from reaction buttons camel notation. Every word begin with capital letters, and there is no confusion between, because JavaScript is case sensitive. And reaction buttons I ask myself why again return here, because I thinking that is all did in this return, but no. Look at now where begin where it is. Here it is. Where finished this curly brackets? Where finished block? Block finished, click here and look at here. It means that all up is object. It is reaction button object. And in this reaction button objects, we have return. We have return, and all inside that return what we need, but it is object. And for to be visible, we must call that object, and we call that here. Here is end, the end of the body of arrow function. This is parenthesis is end of this. It is this. This. Look at now. Here it is this, and go up. Here it is this. This is, and here is, we finished a map. Parameter of map finished here. All inside map is processing, and there is a name, reaction buttons, and we must call that object. That object we must call. Object reaction buttons. This object reaction buttons. This is a reaction buttons component, but reaction buttons object, here there is a map, and inside the map, in parameter of map, we have arrow function and processing, but for visibility, we must call reaction buttons. Reaction buttons is function. That we see function, we must call function. And here it is. In curly brackets, we call reaction buttons. How we call this reaction buttons? It is component. How we call component? Like this. We call component like this. Post list. Here it is. Reaction buttons component we call like this. React element. It is calling reaction buttons React element. And it is post list. And in reaction buttons we call object like this. Again, construction architecture of this site. Architecture of this site, import. And we have object because we need that object for visibility, this emoji and this name. And go ahead, export. Export, declare two object dispatch and reaction buttons. Two objects. And after that, there is a return. Here now, we have returned inside that object, and because of that we must call that object. Post reaction name is emoji. Name and emoji, it is what we see, but instead of name we see number, because name, value of name is number. We see a number. For identification of every button, we need post ID, and here it is parameter of reaction edit. It is action creator. Parameter of that action creator is post ID, is object, curly brackets, object, with two properties. Properties post ID equal concretely post and ID of that post. And the reaction is name. But when it is name, it must be name. And that two data, that two value, unique, it is unique identification of every button in list. And dispatch reaction edit action creator. Action creator will create action, and that action give all data need for state, for change state, mutate state on immutable kind. But interesting that reaction edit, there is no payload, because payload is always 1. It is not, and all this talking in this video, we don't need use state. Same reason for that. We know payload is always 1, and our action creator need take this data, post ID and name of reaction, and with that data mutate action will mutate state on immutable kind. Well, look at for now, because there will be a video series about post slice, but look at now and post slice. Post slice, here is a reaction edit. There is a state and action. And all this is the definition, our scripting, our coding, what will happen. What will happen? This will be happen, plus plus. We adding a value 1 to we up value for 1. This kind, when we change existing post reaction, existing reaction, like this reaction, it is name of reactions, but it is number, and plus plus is mutate, but not immutable. It is change, mutate directly, but we can do that because inside slice technology, inside Redux toolkit give us a possibility that we can do that, because IMER library will, that's our statement, from that our statement plus plus create immutable kind of write scripting needed for immutable kind of change of state. It means copy original state, and that copy grow by one. It is immutable, and it will do IMER library. What coming here with Redux toolkit. All before that, declaration of you look at declaration of post ID and reaction, and it is the structure assignment. The structure assignment. Left side we have two variables, post ID and reaction, and right side is action payload. And we see what is action payload. Action payload, it is not a value. There is no value what we must add, because value is 1, but action payload, there is two data, two variable, what we need for unique identification of every button of reaction. After that, we declare object existing post. It is find concretely post. Post equal post ID. You look at this post ID. Must be equal post ID of concretely post. And if existing post, if it is true, if it is true that exists, existing post dot reactions in square brackets. This reaction, it is this is reaction. Grow up for 1. But I spoke about that again in next series of video about post slice. This series of video is about architecture of React component. React component, and post slice would be architecture of Redux. But correct me, in this series I spoke about component, React component connection with Redux. Architecture, what we need, architecture for connect to Redux. And after you learn by architecture, because architecture is like a model. It is you must model means something there is some layout, some look at from remote. You look at all process and know every part of that process. It is architecture. But in this video I also spoke about inside of architecture, and every part is again architecture. Architecture is architecture is also object, and every object is curly brackets and properties, column. Every properties there is a value. It is also architecture. It is architecture of object, architecture of array, and we must know architecture, and it is syntax, and syntax is grammar. And you look at architecture, syntax, grammar is same thing. But it is not same thing if we coding spaghetti code. Spaghetti code is syntax, is grammar, because there is no error in syntax in grammar, but program function excellent, work excellent, all is okay. But problem with spaghetti is there is no architecture, and when there is no architecture, nobody repeat that code. Nobody correct in future, update that code. No, author of that code don't know what coding, don't know, find error after 1 hour, after 5 minutes, 1 hour of coding like that. And nobody can sit down on his table and continue his work. Architecture is key for that. Architecture, all work same architecture. They agreed about architecture before they start coding some software, and they work by architecture. But you learn coding by architecture. In all you look architecture. You find architecture. You search for architecture. And first you see architecture. And after that go inside grammar and syntax after that. Architecture is a story. You know what you need. We start this video and I said it is a story what we see. We see that it is form, adding post, and behind form we see list of posts. But I speak that every this button must have two ID post and the name of button for identification, for unique identification of every button. And with that unique identification, that two key for unique identification every button, we can go to Redux and say what button grow for one. A story is architecture, because story there is input, middle of story, end of story. Also is architecture in software. Here we have a component, React component, import, have one object, what we need for this component, and export. Inside the export is all. We create object, declare object what we need for a return, for visibility, what to see, and what feature we have here. Object is for feature, and HTML is for a structure of element. I think that I satisfied with this video, and it doesn't mean anything if you didn't satisfy. But you can ask in comment or comment in, try explain all of us, or try explain with your words. Like, subscribe if you like, share. Maybe somebody need strictly video as my video, and I like spoke about architecture. I think that architecture is a very good tools for learning, same as excellent tools for real work in a real company. Learn some architecture, and on interview explain that architecture, type that architecture, And if you understand that, you enjoy explain that, and you success in that interview, because every employer need enthusiasts and need developers who know explain that what they know. Not important quantity, not important. Important is quality of your knowledge. Thank you for watching this video.